Hello everyone, welcome back to the Yours Mine Away podcast with me, Mark Howard. Currently got free agent goalkeeper Jamal Blackman on the show. Welcome, mate.
Someone's like to me, you're not on FIFA this year. And I said, no, I ain't got a club. Yeah. Which was quite funny for me, but it was one of those things, we're staying positive.
How was pre-season with David Coles, by the way, the PFA?
It was a good pre-season, was a tough one.
Old school pre-season?
Well, he hates the word old school. Like,
I've said that on purpose, because I know
he hates it.
Recently just played in a charity match.
It was a good game, really enjoyed it. Had a few celebs playing as well.
How funny is it when the celebs are playing, by the way?
Yeah, I don't realise, obviously Joe Cole was playing and I didn't realise everyone was going to go through. Yeah. But it was a good game, he played well, everyone had a great day. You go in there, you're sitting around. I was next to Petr Cech at the time and I was like, yeah, this is a bit unreal.
Surreal, isn't it? Yeah.
And then, just being in the change room, I think they just signed, Etu just signed.
Hi guys, I'm thrilled to share something with you today. The Mito Pro 300 from Mito Red Light Therapy. Been a game changer. As an athlete, I know the importance of peak performance and recovery, and that's why I rely on the Mito Pro 300 for its unparalleled benefits. Let's dive in to what makes the Mito Pro 300 remarkable. First off, it's all about power, and this device offers 300 red and near-infrared light benefits. These wavelengths penetrate deep into your cells, helping to jumpstart the natural process of recovery and rejuvenation. But it's not just about the numbers, it's about results. The Mito Pro 300 is designed for maximum efficiency. It emits light evenly and directly onto your body, ensuring every inch benefits from this therapeutic light. You might be thinking, why should I choose the Mito Pro 300? Simple, it's a game changer in the world of light therapy. The award-winning quad wavelength design, updated with remote control technology. Toggle up and down on the timer, reset unit settings, and operate multiple units with the same remote. If you're dealing with the aches and pains of an active lifestyle, or simply someone looking to improve your overall well-being, the Mito Pro 300 is your solution, and it's versatile. Use it for targeted spot treatments or full body therapy sessions. The choice is yours and the benefits are undeniable. Plus it's easy to use. Just plug it in, set your treatment time and relax. There's no steep learning curve, no complications. With the Mito Pro 300, you're not just investing in a device. You're investing in your health, your well-being and your performance. Don't wait. Discover the incredible benefits of the Mito Pro 300 for yourself. Visit mitoredlight.com and take the first step towards a better you. Hit the link in the description below. Now let's dive back into this episode. Hello everyone, welcome back to the Yours Mine Away podcast with me, Mark Howard. Today I've got a podcast guest in that I think you're going to find out some great useful information for any footballers out there, anyone in contract, out of contract. We're going to do a large bit about that. I've currently got free agent goalkeeper Jamal Blackman on the show. Welcome, mate.
Oh, cheers, thanks for having me.
Thank you very much for coming on. And I think it's vitally important that we show that there's still goalkeepers, professional goalkeepers out there. We've been talking off air about there's still you, Rob Layton, Luke Wilder, Jordan Amissa, and there's still such a demand for good goalkeepers, but squads are cutting their size and their goalkeeping departments because they are generally running with a one there and trying to get an emergency loan, and it makes it a lot tougher market for us. How have you found it so far?
Yeah, obviously it's quite difficult, obviously going in, still trying to stay fit and still trying to stay ready for any opportunity that comes up. Been quite lucky, had the PFA pre-season, obviously with a lot of other players who are out of contract in the same situation. Obviously as the season starts it gets a bit harder and people are obviously, like you said, cutting down the budget and cutting down the size of the squads, so it's always hard, but it's one of those things as a goalkeeper, it's one position you're always waiting for maybe an injury or someone not happy with their goalkeeper, which is not the easiest situation, but it's one of those things you just have to get used to.
Yeah, I've been there, waiting and looking at every fixture and going through every league, seeing if a goalkeeper got subbed off or a red card. It's a horrible place at times, but you've got to use your support network around you and be positive about it all. But it's tough, isn't it, when you're seeing results come in and thinking, I could go there and play, I could do a job there.
Yeah, it's one of those things as a goalkeeper, the GK union is massive, but you're always thinking you want you want to play, you want to be back in that team environment and be around the lads and just enjoy yourself. But obviously, yeah, you have your people around you trying to help you and say, just stay positive, stay fit. Something will come up, which quite luckily in football, something normally does, and you just have to be patient. And I think that's the hardest part, is just the wait, and the not knowing is probably the worst part, and just overthinking things like, oh, I could have been here, I could have done this, I could have done that, I could have changed this. But I think you have to be just ready at all times as a goalkeeper, and I think you kind of learn that as being in the game, as being a number one or number two. You always have to be ready anyway. So I think that's kind of good, the mentality you have as a goalkeeper. Whereas an outfielder, you can kind of sneak in, maybe get a couple minutes here, a couple minutes there. But as a goalkeeper, you're not going to get that. It's either you're number one or number two, and you just have to be ready.
I think that's almost what makes goalkeepers so mentally strong, is the fact that we know only one of us can play. So whether you're the number two, you're the number three, whether you're out of contract, you know that you've just got to be ready for when called upon. And like I said to you before, I've done it 2 years in a row where I was out of contract, and I thought, I'll wait and something better will turn up. And I had a few terrible offers, which I'm guessing you've had. And you're like, no, I'm good enough to play at a higher level, or I'm good enough for a better contract. And then I've had it. Scunthorpe phoned me after 10 games of a season, and I went in there and we managed to stay up. And Carlisle phoned me after 11 games, and I went in there. And you think, like, I waited till the end of October for these deals, but just remain positive, mate. Something will come up. And then know that, especially being part of the union, I've been putting your name in places, I've been putting other goalkeepers' names in at places, and we all work together. We all want to see each other do well at the end of the day. I suppose it's just the hardest bit I found was family members or friends asking what's happening.
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the hardest things. You get people asking, what's going on? I haven't seen you about. To be fair, this was the first time this year someone's like to me, you're not on FIFA this year. And I said, yeah, no, I ain't got a club. Yeah. Which was quite funny for me, but it was literally just one of those things where staying positive, like, you obviously make the jokes here and there, but obviously you have to just wait. And I think that's the good thing, where my parents have still been there and still been supportive, knowing that it's a hard time, and knowing with football there's so many ups and downs, and they've been there with the ups and been there with the downs, so they kind of understand it. And not knowing, obviously not being in the industry themselves, but being a part of it, saying like, it's going to be all right, there's always going to be something better at the end of the day. Yeah,
it's also the insecurity. It's the same as like when you're injured. You just don't feel part of it. But you know that a month down the line, could be tomorrow you get a phone call, and fingers crossed it is, but you just got to be ready and waiting. Again, though, the phone calls, how many times a day do you reckon you check your phone?
Yeah, literally, first thing I do in the morning, check, have I got a message from an agent, as a club message me on Instagram, anything like that. I'm just literally like, where can I go? What can I do? Trying to stay fit. Where can I go and train? Like, what can I do today to try and just, not even just get my mind out of it and not thinking, that the worst is the worst, thinking things can get better, just being in the gym, just concentrating, be fit, be ready, and just keep looking forward.
Yeah, and it's the structure, the lifestyle structure that we're not used to when we're on our own. So, like, trying to make sure that you're waking up at an all time and going to a gym or training. I know you've been keeping fit and you're ready to go. So how much has that helped you going into Barnet and training there, just so that you're ready at all costs?
Yeah, massively. Obviously, being able to be in that environment, being around other keepers. Obviously, I've been quite lucky with being at Barnet and Nick Hayes. He's doing really well. And obviously being around there and being in the team where they're thriving, they're playing good football. It's a good environment to be around. It kind of keeps your mind off it and says, like, just don't worry, things are going to come. And being able to have just regular goalkeeping sessions, and as much as being in the gym is good for me and anyone as a goalkeeper, you need the goalkeeping sessions to stay 100%. Sharp and be ready to go in the goal and just know where you are and footwork and positioning and stuff like that. So it's quite been really good for me.
Yeah, even that. I've done that before. I trained with Wigan and I trained with Fleetwood in the seasons that I hadn't had deals, and it was just more just to stay sharp in it. And you can't replicate any of that at home, even at one-on-one sessions. If you go down the park with a mate and think, I'll dive around it, it's not the same, is it? So you need that. You need to be involved in five-a-sides, and you need to be passing the ball out, and you need to be diving around and coming for crosses and stuff. Certain stuff you can't replicate on your own, can you? Yeah. And obviously the training at Barnet, it's definitely helping.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like, being able to be around that, and like I said, being around the keeper who's doing well and in a team that's doing well, it helps, because you can see like how the atmosphere is there. Everyone's buzzing. Everyone's want to play football. Everyone's competing at the top level, and obviously that's what I want to do as a player. You always want to be able to compete and being a part of teams that are doing well and pushing for like cups, promotion, stuff like
that. How was pre-season with David Coles, by the way, the PFA?
It was a good pre-season. Was a tough one.
Old school pre-season?
Well, he hates the word old school. Like, he says he's.
I've said that on purpose because I know he'll listen.
He hates it, but no, I really enjoyed it. To be fair, when I first got in there, was a tough week. I'd literally just got back from being away. Fortunately, that week I got COVID. Ended up continuing training for the last couple of days. Couldn't move. Couldn't get out of bed for like a couple of days after that.
Yeah.
Then the next week went in, felt miles better.
Yeah.
Felt like I was finding my feet again, and just having that consistent training of being in and around with other players. And obviously, like I said, the PFA, having all the other free agents that you've known in the game all together kind of gives you that like little bit of like hope, and like kind of settles you as well, knowing that you're around other players that are going through the same thing. I think the worst thing is being at home by yourself, overthinking like, oh, what's going to happen now?
Yep.
And having that environment in the training sessions we had, and having the little games and going away really helped. And I think that was a great thing the PFA did.
Yeah, and that you played matches as well, didn't you? And obviously you stayed away together. Is it obviously you've probably made a few relationships from that with other players, but like seeing them now getting contracts obviously fills you with hope. But is it like you're now texting them saying, "Oh my God, like that's class"?
Yeah, no, I've spoken to a few of the boys when they got their contracts and obviously started playing their games. It was like great to see them. And obviously when I was at Barnet, Harry Chapman came to the PFA. He was there as well. My friend Frankie Dabo, who's gone up to Championship in Scotland, he's playing as well. So it's like people all got moves still going on now.
Yep.
So it's one of those things like you're still always hopeful like your move will come next, and you just have to wait for it.
That's it, mate. It's just about being patient. You recently just played in a charity match.
Yeah.
I was saying to you off air, I did that, but I played outfield just to keep fit, really. I'm only going to mention that I scored 1 goal and got 1 assist, but yeah, obviously you played in goal for them. Do you want to say a little bit about the charity?
It was for Baby Awareness Week.
Yeah.
I got lucky and I've got a call from Sharif who invited me down. It was a good game, really enjoyed it. Had a few celebs playing as well.
How funny is it when the celebs are playing, by the way?
Yeah, I don't realise, like, obviously Joe Cole was playing and I didn't realise everyone was going to go for him.
Yeah.
But it was a good game, he played well, everyone had a great day. It was good for that people coming down as well to support it, so it was a good time.
And like you're saying, a few people went for Joe Cole, but it's mad the tackles that go in, isn't it?
Yeah, like, I forget like the different level of the way tackles go in. And obviously we were on AstroTurf, so I'm thinking, no one's going to be sliding about.
They are.
Yeah, they really were.
They really are. Right, I've got a couple of quick-fire questions for you, just to get to know you, really. Favourite goalkeeper colour kit?
To be fair, I did like the pink one when I was at LA.
Yeah, nice.
I had pink hair as well to go with it. So.
Yeah, I saw that. I've seen the pictures. I can't wait to speak to you about LA. Right, play short or kick it long?
Play short. I love to play short.
You came through a very good academy, that's why.
It helps.
Who's your goalkeeping hero?
Growing up, I'll probably say Dida at the time.
Yeah, nice. Great choice.
I had the little swell like he did in his hair, and that was probably around my time when I was growing up. That's one of the black keepers I knew about.
Yep. He was winning everything as well, obviously doing well Champions League. Brazil, he was unbelievable for, weren't he?
Yeah, absolute joke.
Did you, that obviously it's meant to be quick fire, but did you kind of look at him and think, obviously it's more relatable?
Yeah, so back then I was playing Sunday League and everyone was like, oh, what keepers do you look at? And I was like, well, Dida's the main one I look at. Yep. He's a big guy.
Yep.
He was solid. Yep. Like, he just looked like someone you just didn't want to mess with. And I was like, I can try and relate to because that was the black keeper I knew back then.
Yeah.
And then when I went to Chelsea, I knew Yves Makalambe, who was the third choice, and I was quite lucky to be.
I played against Yves. He was the same. I think Yves might have been a year younger than me. I played against his Belgium team and everything.
So I knew him and spoke to him quite a lot and still speak to him quite a lot now. Yeah. So yeah, he was quite funny.
Is he still at Wycombe?
No, he's coaching at Chelsea now.
Oh,
he's
at the academy,
yeah.
Oh,
he does PTing as well.
Yeah.
Like, I promise you don't do a session.
Yeah,
it was probably the worst thing I've ever done.
I've seen on Instagram. I would not bother to do that.
Yeah, one of the hardest sessions I've ever done in my life. But he's good as well.
Yeah, so Yves had me and him had a similar path. Obviously, he played Belgium international. I played for England, and when I went up to Scotland, he went up to Scotland and played for Hibs. So we ended up playing like a lot when I was at Arsenal with Chelsea. Went up to Scotland and he was at Hibs. I was like, oh my God, it's like followed each other around a little bit. I'm glad he's doing well. Who's the best goalie in the world right now?
I actually don't know. That's a hard one for me.
Everyone goes to 2 Brazilians or a Courtois.
That's what I mean. I would say Courtois just because I've been around Courtois and know how he is.
Yep.
But it is a hard one. There is quite a few good goalkeepers right now. It's like it's a hard thing to say.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Long sleeve shirts or short sleeve shirts? It's changed, isn't it, over the years?
See, I've always worn long sleeve and pulled them up.
Yeah.
And if I wear short sleeve, I have to wear Under Armour underneath it. So it's like, I don't know.
Changed to it. Your favourite stadium you've ever played at? Say one in America. Say your favourite American stadium, because there's some mad stadiums out there.
I don't know. It's hard. I think LAFC stadium was unbelievable.
Oh, really?
Like the atmosphere is there is great. But then we played LA Galaxy away.
Yep.
And that's
a great stadium, isn't it?
That was an unbelievable one.
Apart from the back wall with a flower bed on it, it's so bizarre, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. And then Minnesota's one when it was freezing cold, but it was still unbelievable. Yeah.
We played at one a couple of years ago, San Diego's ground, the Snapdragon. Honestly, it's the most fun stadium I've ever seen in my life. They had the stadium's based on like a dragon. So, but like the fireworks come out of its horns and teeth. Like every time there's a goal. They had a flyover from like the aircraft because they're based near Mexico on the border. So just everything about it was just incredible. They played music all the time.
Yeah, that's what LA music the whole time. The whole time, no matter what the score is, what's going on, they're playing music. To be fair, Portland. Yeah. When we played there, when they scored a goal, like someone's got like a chainsaw cutting
the wood.
It was madness. Yeah.
I remember seeing Liam Ridgewell talk about that when they scored. They had to cut a chunk of wood off.
It's good.
It's just totally different atmosphere, isn't it? Right, and then last one, I always say, you can either save a penalty in the last minute of a game to win it, or you can go up and score a goal. Which one are you going to do?
Score a goal.
Yeah, it has to be score a goal, isn't it?
Yeah, we never get to do it. You have to be honest. When you save penalties, you're normally going to either save it or miss it, but scoring a goal, not many people score goals.
Yeah, right. Obviously, you're from Croydon as well, right? So there's a lot of similarities here. How did you get into being a goalkeeper?
I was playing a school tournament. Our keeper got injured.
It's always the same.
And then I was like, oh, look, I'll go and goal. And I remember it was a hot day, and I was like, I don't want to run around right now. So I was like, I'll go and goal. And we won. It was a 5-side tournament. We won the tournament. And then my Sunday team came, and they were like, oh, like, would you go and goal for us? And I was like, yeah, sure. Yeah. Played a season there, won the league with Junior Elite. And then I ended up going to Chelsea.
No way.
And they were like, oh, how long have you been a keeper? And I was like, well, I've not had any goalkeeping sessions or anything like that. It
was that quick?
Yeah, I was lucky.
Yeah. How much do you attest you're coming through, obviously, to being from South London? Obviously, we're both from South Croydon as well. So it's a hard place to grow up at times. Yeah. And I used it as a vessel to get away from being in Croydon almost.
To be fair, I was quite lucky. I kept going. I was always back and forth from Croydon. It was about an hour from Cobham. Yeah. But a lot of the boys I played with from Chelsea ended up being from South London and then around that area.
It's a hotbed for footballers, isn't it?
So yeah, we literally ended up all travelling together. We'd all like meet up at Clapham Junction, get the train to Cobham together. Yeah. It was kind of like a thing we all had together. So it was quite lucky where we had that environment. We were all quite close. So I think that kind of helped me. It was like, we're all from London, so it was like you're all from South London. We'll all be together, and going through the academy, we all stuck quite close together.
Yeah, because you end up. I'm going to jump on a bit here, but you end up winning the Youth Cup with that team as well. And like you said, a lot of you were good mates and local lads, weren't you, from South London? Yeah. I'll talk about that in a minute. But why do you think South London's such a hotbed for footballers?
Just a lot of like raw talent. Yeah. There was a lot of players playing. Most teams in South London at the time when I was growing up were a lot of like black players playing together, and like that was like one of our things we enjoyed. We was all from the same area, from like either Caribbean, African. It was like we all kind of got on with each other, and it was like we could have our laughs. It was fun, and then obviously the sports. We were all competitive. It was like it's winning or nothing. Yeah, that was always it. Draw was.
It's a mentality thing as well, wasn't it?
So I think that kind of helped us growing up, and we all enjoyed just playing with each other and being around each other growing up.
Obviously, I always say, but there's a lot of cage football, and after school we'd always be down the park or down the cages, and we'd all be good at fighting it out, really. And then anyone that had a bit of talent, you was like, they're a good footballer, them, because they can still play through the lads fighting.
Yeah.
And that's what it was always like. And even I grew up in Croydon, like I said, but we had garages next to us.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever played garage football. It's literally like a cage, and it's garages all the way down the side. It's like a five-a-side pitch.
Yeah, bouncing off the air.
Yeah, and you're just bouncing off walls. But honestly, it hardened me and my brother. But I always felt that it was like come from then, because if you could tough it out in those situations,
you could deal with it.
When it came to like playing on Saturday or Sunday, you was like, I'm going to be one of the toughest here. Yeah. And that was what it was always like.
Yeah, I think that was, we'd always go down to my friends. I lived South Croydon. I used to go to East Croydon. My friends used to live in the estate, and we used to just play football down there. And it was like everyone would be trying to get the ball. And obviously, like, we played like games, just like mad games, like 40-foot home and stuff like that. And it's just like you're chasing, you're fighting. Everything's a fight, literally. And you kind of grew up with that mentality. It's like whatever we're doing, we're fighting until we're winning. And that was it.
Right, so then obviously, like you said, you was only a goalkeeper for a very short amount of time before you get scouted by Chelsea.
Yeah.
Was that daunting, or was you really excited? Like, what's your first ever goalkeeper session like?
It was like, I remember it was so funny. I was about 11 years old, and they were like, all right, we're going to do some ladders. And I was like, what's ladders? I was like, I ain't got a clue what's going on here. So then I'm trying to watch everyone. I'm going through the ladders, tripping over the ladders, messing up everything. Then we're like, okay, hurdles and dives. And I was like, nah, this is too much. I can't do this anymore. And they were like, no, you're getting it, you're getting it. Then we went over with the team, and we were playing, and they were playing out from the back. And I'm like, don't you just kick it long?
Yeah.
They were like, no. We play out from the back. We keep the ball. We use the keepers. Got to keep doing this. And I remember the first week, I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah.
I'm struggling here. And my dad's like, nah, you want to be a goalkeeper, you're going to be a goalkeeper. After about a month, I was like, okay, I kind of get it now.
Yep.
Then I was realising, right, it's not as hard as I think it is. And then about 2 months later, I ended up playing upper year. And then I was like, okay, now this is a lot harder.
Yeah.
And it's like, you kind of learn how different the goalkeeping sessions are. Because I went from being under 12s, training with the under 12s, 13s and 14s, to then being pushed up a year to the 13s and 14s. And because I was tall, I ended up training with the 16s.
Yep.
And I remember just being with like, I'm trying to think who was there at that time, like Sam Walker was there at the time.
Yep.
And it was like people like my height and bigger. And
Yeah,
it was
Sam's a big boy as well.
Yeah, it was like being around them. It's like, okay. I remember going back to my age group thinking, okay, no, this isn't as bad now. I can actually do the footwork. I know the handling, and kind of got used to doing that. Yeah.
So do you reckon it's just obviously at first it's the coordination aspect of getting your eyes, hands, and feet to all work together. It's tough.
Yeah.
Especially when you're young. So, like you're saying, you couldn't do the ladders and that, but like it's so new to you.
Yeah.
It makes it difficult, but now it's just a creature of habit sort of thing, and you just do it like. But at that time, that's what I find it really interesting, because I can't really remember doing those sort of drills. I remember that my old goalie coach, Alex Welsh, and it was like, first session we ever did, he made you take your goalkeeper gloves off and put your gloves hanging up in the net. Yeah. And he then served at the goal, and it was like, look, your gloves don't save it, you do, so you need to get your hands behind it, get your head behind it, and it's all about you. And it wasn't about like your equipment or the club you played for. He just made it all about, you're the one that can do the job, think about how you can do it. The coaches at that standard, at that level, are unbelievable, aren't they?
Yeah, no, it definitely is. Like, especially going through the academies, like that was my first time being in academy football, being in around it, and being around the coaches. And I remember just thinking, like, just watching everyone. I couldn't go first. I had to watch what everyone was doing.
Yep.
And I'm quite good where a visual. If someone does something, I can quite copy it quite quickly.
Yep.
And then I remember going into the first team when I was about 16, 17, and it was Christoph Lollinshaw who was there. And I remember his session was completely different. And I was like, what am I going into here? It was like he had different colour balls, different colour cones. He was doing volleys, but you'd have a ball in your hand, throwing the ball up, catch it, throwing it behind you, throwing it over your head. And then you'd be doing crossing. He'll be like, all right, tell me what zone you're going to catch the ball in for the cross.
And shout the zone
out
before you caught
it. And then throwing balls in the air. He'd be like, different colour balls, catch that ball before you catch that ball. And it was like, this is a whole different coordination.
Yeah.
But it helped me being able to concentrate more on the focus on the ball.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly, it was Petr one of his big things was like, he wanted a lot of things going on so he can focus on one thing.
Yeah.
Which I think was really good. And I think having that and then going back with the academy and being able to be like, all right, this stuff I can do.
Yeah.
I don't have to think about it as much. Kind of helps me going forward.
Yeah. Because looking at your journey, especially at Chelsea, it was so fast-tracked, really.
Yeah.
From signing at 12 to then being on the bench or in the Premier League, like it's such a short amount of time considering you never had any goalkeeping work before it.
Yeah.
Did you ever do you look back now, and at the time did you appreciate where you were?
Yeah, like I obviously my time being on the bench, I was against Arsenal and I was thinking, nah, this can't be real.
Crazy.
It was unreal experience, and obviously going back thinking of where I come from and how I got here and just going through the sessions and just being, even thinking about getting on the train just with that everyone else, thinking where we've all come from to go in to being around the first team and being in the Premiership and thinking I'm almost there. Like it kind of puts you up high, but you always have to remember, like watching the game, I was like, I'm nowhere near ready to go on the pitch. I know I need a lot more work. I need a lot more experience before I'm ever ready. But it was just one of those things. I was like, I want to be a part of this. I want to be doing this week in, week out. I want to be.
Gives you that fuel,
Yeah.
Let's talk about winning the FA Youth Cup, because for any of the audience that don't know, FA Youth Cup at that age is the biggest deal in the world. It's like the World Cup, isn't it? Obviously, your Chelsea team did go on and win it. We lost to Southampton like 2 or 3 times in a row because they had Theo Walcott, Dexter Blackstock, and Dyer.
But to be fair, the year before we lost the semis against Man United, and that was like Paul Pogba, Ravel Morrison, Jesse Lingard, all that age group, and they went on to win it.
Yep.
So the year after, we were like, "No, we have to win it." That was like our last year doing it. We were like, "No, we have to win it this year." And luckily enough, we won it, but we won it at Blackburn Stadium.
Yep.
So it was like we won away, but we lost that game, and that was like the only game we lost in the whole thing. But obviously, in the final, it's the
aggregate score over the 2 legs.
Obviously at Stamford Bridge, we absolutely smashed them 3-0.
Yeah.
And then when they lost 1-0, and we were still buzzing.
Yeah, of course. Who was in your team?
We had Lewis Baker, Nathan Aki, Andreas Christensen, Nathaniel Saloba, Ruben Loftus-Cheek. Who else was my age group at the time? I think Milan Lalkovic was my age group.
Some team, by the way.
George Saville.
Yeah.
I think Josh played the year before. I'm trying to think of what strikers were as well. Islam Farouz.
Yep.
We actually had a mad team.
Yeah, it's a mad team. It's a mad team when you actually write that down and put it on paper.
Yeah, John Swift as well, yeah.
After winning that, you then signed a 5-year contract, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was that off the back of how well you'd been doing, and obviously winning that as well helps?
Yeah, it was one of those years where we were all kind of going from our pros to actual senior contracts. It was like we were in and around the first team, and because obviously we'd done so well, it was like, all right, there was a few of us getting contracts. A few of us were turning 19, 20 at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 19. So it was like, what's our next stages? And I remember I was training in the academy, and they were like, no, we need to sort out your contract you're in the first team. But I felt like an academy player, so I was always still going to the academy building thinking, no, I'm still in the
here
academy
first,
player, and then I'll go over to the first team building. And then I remember signing the contract, and they were like, no, you're going to be in the first team building now. And then I was thinking, wow, this is a big change now.
Big step. Did you get your own locker and that with your own name on as soon as you went over there?
I got a locker. I didn't have my name in it just yet, but it was everyone, obviously, you go in there, you're sitting around. I was next to Petr at the time, and I was like, yeah, this is a bit unreal.
Surreal, isn't it? Yeah.
And then, just being in the change room, I think they just signed, Etu just signed. So it was like, there was some big names, obviously, world-class players there.
Yeah. See, being able to learn from those type of keepers and those type of players, like doing shooting drills with Samuel Eto'o must have been just ridiculous.
Yeah, like the players they had at the time, I was obviously the third choice keeper at the time, so I'd always be doing the extra shooting, extra drills. I always remember just being like, I'm going to get peppered again today. And just being like, Frank Lampard taking penalties, free kicks, left foot, right foot. And then you had David Luiz, Alex.
Oh my God, they could smash a ball as well.
Doing free kicks. Yeah, it was just shooting drills after shooting drills. And I was like, like I'm getting peppered here, but I felt like I felt like I'd be around it, and I felt good. Like always felt like I'm saving shots from these players. Like just think what you could do when you actually get in the
when
first
your
team.
chance comes.
Yeah.
Huge shout out to Forged Irish Stout for being part of this podcast. Listen to that beauty. An unbelievably smooth, creamy stout by Conor McGregor, the UFC legend. Not here to take part, but here to take over. Forged Irish Stout is on a mission to become the biggest Irish stout. Conor McGregor has taken over the whiskey game. Now he's about to take over the stout game. Me and my guests will be enjoying a few cans in the next few episodes. If you fancy checking it out too, make sure you hit the description below and find out where you can get Forged Irish Stout. Let's get back to the podcast.
Do you look back and obviously you never actually played for the first team officially?
Yeah.
Is that like I'm exactly the same, by the way. So don't feel I never played for Arsenal. I was there, and like I look back and think, just if I just had one game, you never know which path your career goes.
Yeah, I think everyone always looks back. I remember I was in. We had an injury. I think Courtois was injured. Begovic was playing, and then I was on the bench quite a lot of the games, and a couple Champions League games. And I remember being like, I'm this close from being near the first team. And I remember Mourinho went to the papers and said, we need another keeper. Jamal was nowhere near ready.
No way.
And I just remember being like, all right, if he's saying it, I must not be.
Who did they bring in? Hilaria?
No, we brought in a keeper from Italy, Marco. I can't remember his last name right now, but we brought him in, and he then became second choice on the bench while Courtois was injured.
Some goalies you've worked with there, by the way, Peter Cech, Courtois, Begovic.
Yeah, I've been very lucky.
Yeah.
Ross Turnbull as well.
Ross Turnbull, what a fella. What a fella. Back working at Chelsea as well, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Did you manage to learn a lot off of those keepers, and how helpful were they with you?
Yeah, I was very lucky when I first went into the first team. It was Ross Turnbull, Peter Cech, and Hilaria, and Ross really helped me. Obviously, English lad as well. I was like, just get on, and show you the ropes. And obviously, Ross loves a joke.
Yeah,
he used to love annoying Christoph as well. But was quite lucky that it was a good unit. Yeah. Everyone was laughing and joking, but when the work was going on, we were serious. It was competitive. We would always be trying to be shooting against each other, and it'd be like, no, we want you to try and score against us. So it's
different.
It actually shows us what a game repetition can be like. And I remember just being around that and being like, all right, this is the kind of environment I'm around, coming from the academy, where obviously you have the different age groups working together. Sometimes it'll be a bit slower, a bit faster, and then going into the first team where it was literally competitive every day. And obviously that Chelsea team at the time was very competitive. Five-a-side, no one wanted to lose. Everyone took it to heart if you lost a game. And I remember being 16, 17 thinking, I can't be the one that makes a mistake here. But then I was lucky where I had John Terry, and he would be like, look, no matter what, just you're behind me. You have to tell me what's going on. I can't see everything. And that was a massive thing for me. I've always taken, whereas a young keeper coming in, you're always going to struggle. And if you have someone in front of you that's literally onto you constantly, you're not going to thrive. And where I was quite lucky, where I had people that said, look, even though he was the England captain at the time, he was like, no, tell me what to do. I need that help. That has helped me throughout my whole career.
Yeah, that's incredible. That Chelsea team was full of leaders as well, weren't it? So I suppose having someone like a John Terry, but then you also had someone like a Lampard that would speak to you totally different. Peter Cech was obviously he's such an intelligent person. Yeah. So you was picking up all these different traits from very intelligent football people as well. It must have been just a surreal moment when you sat there one day eating lunch and Peter Cech's telling you how to keep goal and John Terry's telling you how to communicate and all these sort of nuggets that you're picking up along the way. Just to have that as an experience is incredible.
Yeah, no, it's definitely helped me with my career. And anywhere I've gone, it's being able to obviously speak to people a certain way. At the time, obviously, Chelsea had so many players, so many international players, and there were so many different languages. And then you'd be around Petr Cech, who could speak all of them. And it was like he could communicate to everyone in any language. And it wasn't like he had to be shouting at them. He had the way he spoke.
Yeah.
And it was like you listened to what he said, and because there was a team, it was actually like everyone listened to everyone, and it was so competitive. It wasn't like you go to some teams that like people be arguing back. It was like, right, you're telling me this, I'm going to take it on board, but I'm going to tell you this as well. And it wasn't like a back and forth kind of thing. It was like, cool, we're all together. I'm trying to help you so you can help me, and so on and so forth. And you kind of take that on where you go to different teams and learn that you have to be together and always work together, because otherwise you're not going to be able to compete or be the team you need to be. Yeah,
calculated discussions mean a lot more, don't they? If you're trying to put across something, I'm understanding it, and then giving my turn back of what I thought about the situation. Yeah, it just makes everyone's
instead
clearer
of actually
vision.
going back at someone like, no, like
shut up, no,
me,
I'm not doing that. You can't tell me that. Yeah.
It's like, no, I'm trying to help you so you can help me. And it's like, and I learned that quite young. Yeah, which is probably one of the things that helps me and helps a lot of people, is learning that to be able to communicate. Yep. Because that's probably one of the main things as a goalkeeper you have to be able to do. Because obviously at a young age, I wasn't going to be loud and be above everyone else. It was like you had to give information and had to be precise and just be direct. Don't be trying to beat around the bush. It's like you're trying to help someone. You're not trying to get at someone or anything like that. Yeah.
Right, I want to talk a little bit about your loan deals, because you've had quite a lot of them. But obviously, each one of them's total different experiences, and for different reasons. Some of them are to go and play, some of them are to go and be a backup. And obviously, the Leeds one, I want to talk about the injury as well. Yeah. Because I feel like, even like watching you, and I'd left Sheffield United the year before you joined, and like I thought right, you're going to kick on now. You can, and then obviously you had an injury. So let's go through them. Right. So Middlesbrough.
Middlesbrough was my first one. Yep. To be fair,
I went there. First loan move, mate. Most people go like non-league and that. You've gone Middlesbrough.
To be fair, I was speaking between Yeovil and Middlesbrough at the time. I wanted to go Yeovil. Chelsea were like, you're going to go Middlesbrough, you're going to be looked after. Karanka knows Mourinho, they've worked together.
Of course, yeah, that's
so ended up going to Middlesbrough. I remember I came just after I went to my first England camp with the 21s with Gareth Southgate. And it was like, all right, you're going to go on, you need to play games, you need to try and be in around it. I went there and played an FA Cup game, which we lost to penalties. I think it was 14-13 in penalties.
Oh my God. Did you score yours?
Yeah, scored one.
Sorry.
It was against Liverpool. I was like, nah, I have to score this. But that was my first official game. Yep. And
your first official game was against Liverpool, by the way. I'm going to write that
down. Yeah. But yeah, no, it was really good. Like, had a lot of ups and downs. There was a lot going on. And obviously then, because it was FA Cup, Liverpool did put out quite a strong team as well. But I was just enjoying the atmosphere, Liverpool away.
Your first game was against Liverpool at Anfield, by the way.
Scored at the top end.
Yes.
Take that.
Yeah.
But no, it was a good loan, and then ended in January when Mark Schwarzer left Chelsea, and then I ended up going back.
Yeah. So then I know personally, it's hard when you go back, because you think, right, I want to play games, but I've been out on loan and I want to go back, and then you have to readjust to going back into that like third, fourth choice. Yeah. And you're like, well, I just want to go back out on loan again and taste it again. So then after that, you went to Sweden. Do you want to pronounce it? Östersund.
Östersund.
With Graham Potter.
Yeah.
Yeah. That must have been a great experience. Obviously, I think you was quite young still.
Yeah.
So to go abroad, especially live away from home, it's a big move.
Yeah, it was obviously something I needed. I wanted to play games and I wanted to be in around the team. I was quite lucky. I spoke to Connor Ripley, who was there literally the year before me, and said he loved it. Like, they treat you well out there. It's a great place to be, and obviously a great manager at the time. And they just got promoted into the top division, and they played football. And it was like, come here, get games, try and like just build up your career. And that was, for me, really helped, like a good stepping stone where I really enjoyed myself, really enjoyed my football, played with some good players, and then pushed me on to be able to go and made me realise how hard it is to play on AstroTurf week in, week out.
How good of a manager was Graham Potter then, and did you know that he would go on to manage Chelsea one day?
Yeah, back then, great manager. Like I said, played football. Yeah. We build up from the back. It was enjoyable football. We played well together. And back then, obviously, you don't know where everyone's going to be, but you could tell, like, he's taken the team from there to then get promoted. and then be playing Europa League football as well. Like you could see that it was a good manager, it was a good team, and you always knew that he'd always going to get a big move.
Yeah, fair enough. Right, and then obviously you've come back, and then you went out to Wycombe, played 52 times for Wycombe, and a really good season for them.
Yeah.
Obviously back playing in England, playing well and doing well, playing a lot of games. Obviously you're then starting to find your feet as a first team goalkeeper, aren't you?
Yeah.
It must have been a really good loan spell for you personally.
Well, yeah, I really enjoyed it. Like I said, I had a lot of great people there as well. I had Akinfenwa, who just signed as well, and obviously big character, like really good players back then. I had Miles Weston, Anthony Stewart, a lot of players I was around, and we had a good team. We had a good environment, like great manager.
Joe Jacobson there.
Yeah, he's still there. He was there as well on the free kicks and corners.
Bloody hell.
But no, we had a great team, great manager. It was like we're trying to play football. We're really attacking. Everyone knew about Wycombe. Play forward, run forward, attack forward.
Yeah.
And I was quite lucky. I can from up top, so it was literally like just hit Bayo as quick as possible. And I was quite lucky where he'd help out, hold up the ball.
Great talker as well, were they in the dressing room? And
that's what I mean. Big character. You always knew that he had your back no matter what was going on the pitch. And I think that was a good team. I think we just missed out on playoffs. And it was a lot of games. And luckily enough, I got young player of the
season. I read that. Class.
Yeah, really enjoyed it there, and that helped me with my next move.
Yep. Obviously, then your next move, like I said, you went to Sheffield United.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think I'd left. Yeah. And then you signed. You and Simon Moore both signed, didn't you?
Yeah. So Simon signed the year before I did. And I signed the year after. Yeah. But I signed. Simon just got injured.
That was it.
During pre-season, and Chris Wilder said, "I'll come in and you'll compete as a number 2, as a number 1." Lucky enough, came in. We done all right. We started the season quite well. We were like 3rd or 4th at the time. We were having a good season. Played quite a lot of games. And then I kind of fell out of the team. Simon came in, done well. I then got injured. Ended up back at Chelsea for recovery, physio, stuff like that. And then I think Simon got a red card. And then they were like, "No, you have to come back now." And I was like, "All right, well, I have to see how the injury is." And they were like, "Oh no, it's against Leeds. Like you have to play. So Yorkshire Derby." And I was like, "I'll see what I could do." And I remember going up thinking, not fully fit here, but we'll see. And ended up getting man of the match.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. And then had a couple good games after that. Played Nottingham Forest. I remember it was like a snowstorm. It was like a blizzard. It was a weird environment, but we had some good games after that. And then I got sent off against Brentford.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's a really stupid red card. That's my first red card ever. I remember I held the ball above someone's head.
Yeah.
Yeah, and who was it? I can't remember who it was.
So you've caught the ball, just held it above their head?
No, so Brentford has scored.
Oh, right, you were time wasted.
Yeah, gone off to celebrate. I've gone to get the ball at the back of the net. Me and the player tussling. I then grabbed the ball. He's tried to grab me. I then held it above his head because I'm taller than everyone. Yeah. He's then tried to grab it. We've kind of had a little tussle. Ref sent both of us off.
Oh my God. That's horrendous, really, isn't it? Surely the ref's got to use a little bit of common sense.
Yeah, but that was my first and only red card I've had.
Yeah, and then obviously Simon gets back in the team, but the club goes on to get promoted again, didn't they?
Yeah, so I left that season. We just missed out. Well, we were like, I think we finished 10th that season.
Oh, was it? Okay.
And then I joined Leeds.
Yep.
And Dean Henderson went to Sheffield United.
That was exactly it. Sorry, yeah.
Dean Henderson got promoted with Sheffield United.
Yep. Yeah. So let's talk about this. Your move to Leeds, because again, I remember you going in there, and I was thinking, no, it's a great opportunity for a great club as well, obviously. And then obviously you got injured in pre-season in a weird clash, didn't you?
Yeah. So it was weird timing. So yeah, I went there pre-season time. Was doing well. Managers then come in, Bielsa. He was very strict with everything. It was like, nah, everyone has to be trim. Everyone has to be
murderable as well. Yeah,
murderable. Like the training we did, regimes, running, the stuff like that. Like we had to be top performance. I came in late to pre-season, so he was like, no, you're not ready to play yet until you get have got to a certain fitness.
Yep.
You're not playing. So I said, fair enough. Peacock Farrell was playing.
Yep.
We were winning, doing well. It then came to about, I think it was like October time, November time, and he was like, he's going to look to make a change. Like, you got to play this friendly against. It was against Birmingham at the time, under 23s. It's like, cool, no problem. It was international break. I'll happy play. He was like, yeah, play this game, and then possibly you could play on the weekend. It was, I think, the 85th minute. We're losing 3-0. And my friend Bez, who I was at Burton with, has come in and slid the same time I've slid, and his leg has gone into my leg and broken my leg. But to be fair, I thought it was just a dead leg. So I'm thinking, oh, yeah, that's fine. Don't worry about it. And he was like, no, sorry, I'm sorry. I'm like, no, it's fine. Got into the physio room.
So did you play the last few minutes of the game?
No, I stood up. I said, nah,
yeah,
I'm all right, I'm finished. So I've gone inside. And my brother was watching the game. He's speaking to the physio and he's like, gone like that. And I've gone, nah, what's going on? Physio's come over and said, oh, I'm sorry, but you've broken your leg. And I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. He's cut the sock and you could see like the bone pushing out. And I remember Bielsa coming in and he just came and just gave me a hug.
Oh, no way.
And I was like, okay, maybe this is a bit worse than it actually is. But I was quite lucky. Like Bielsa was a really good person. Like, you could always, even though he couldn't speak English, you could always go and speak to him. And it was like, even then after that, a couple months after my recovery, came to Chelsea just to see how I was. And I was like, really touched.
Great testament to the man that, yes, good.
He bought me a gift just to say thank you for obviously the hard work. And I was really good from him. Like, I've only been with him for a few months, but he came down just to do that for me.
So then obviously you're back at Chelsea recovering and then you get the chance to go to Vitesse.
Yeah, so I was coming to the end of my recovery. I'd been out a year and a bit.
That's a long time out, isn't it?
Yeah. And Vitesse were like, look, come here. You can do the end of your rehab here and then look towards playing the games. So I finished my rehab there, and to be fair, being around that team, I was quite lucky. They were a lot of good lads there, and ended up coming to January. We did a winter pre-season, and I remember Chelsea saying, clubs are asking about you, like, would you come back to England and play? And I was like, well, I think I've done my rehab here. Yeah. I think I've enjoyed my time here. Like, it's time for me to start playing now. Yeah. Vitesse had gone, like, we're going to wait for a little while before you start playing. So Chelsea said, no, we're going to get you back playing straight away. Yeah. And then that's when I joined Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
I've just been here, there and everywhere.
Yeah, that's literally how it happens. Obviously, I want to now talk about, obviously you joined Rotherham as well after Bristol Rovers. Let's talk about Los Angeles then and how this came about.
So I just left Chelsea. Yeah. Kind of the same situation I'm in now. I was waiting for a team, and my agent got a phone call saying, like, would I go to America? And I was like, love to go to America.
Yeah.
Like, who wouldn't want to go to America?
Exactly, yeah.
But it was literally just after COVID. They said, if you're going to come out here, you have to get a COVID jab. Ended up getting the Johnson one in Mexico.
So you fly from England to Mexico?
Let's do 3 days quarantine.
Yeah.
Get my jab vaccination, then fly to America, do 5 more days quarantine, and then in and around the team and in and around the environment.
And then so you've signed for LAFC.
Yeah.
What a great place to live.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Expensive.
Yeah, very expensive.
Very expensive.
Where did you live?
So I was downtown. I really enjoyed downtown LA.
Yeah.
So I ended up being there, which was literally 15 minutes away from training, 15 minutes away from Hollywood, 30 minutes from Santa Monica, down by the beach. So I was literally like in the best location.
Yeah, right. So we went in pre-season and some of the best coffee shops and stuff like that. And obviously the shopping and the beach is just an unbelievable place. It must have been unreal as a little spell in your career to go and live out there. Yeah,
like, lucky enough, it was obviously coming to the end of COVID, and things were opening up. People can go places, and it was good. I really enjoyed it. To be fair, I met Bondi out there as well. Yeah. I went for a coffee with him in Hollywood, and I was like, yeah, this is unreal. And yeah, meeting people out there was really enjoying football. And at the time, Vela was captain, and he was like, yeah, he loves it here. Obviously, everyone loves him here. And I was like, yeah, you could see why. But yeah, it was a great time for me.
You told me off air. Can you tell me on air the reason how you left? Obviously, you was promised certain things.
I signed to the end of the season with an optional 2-year deal. They then said, look, we're going to sort the deal out. We want you to stay, but we're sorting out the club at the moment. And then they said there's a draft coming up, which all players out of contract can go into. They told me not to go into it just because they're going to sort the contract out. Me and my agent decided not to go into the draft, and then ended up waiting for LA after the draft, finding out they've signed another keeper, and then it kind of just went quiet from there. And I was like, could have gone to the draft, could have kept my contract and been in another team, but then ended up, luckily enough, coming back to England and Huddersfield needing a keeper. And that was quite lucky timing, really, for me.
Obviously, like you said, you came back to Huddersfield, and then you've got also then joined Exeter. Played a lot of games last year not last year, year before, for Exeter. And clearly, again, just back to playing week in, week out and enjoying your football. That must have been hard at the end of that season when they departed, let you go. It's one of them things as a goalkeeper. Sometimes you feel like you've played enough games and done well enough to then merit another deal. It doesn't always work out like that.
To be fair, like you said, I really enjoyed my time there. I went there playing. We were doing well. Our manager then left. He went to Rotherham. We then got Gary Caldwell come in. We were still doing well. And then I remember January, he was saying that he wanted to change the way we played, the way, the style of play we did, and he wanted to bring some other players in. He brought Gary Woods in, and to be fair, was quite good, quite close to Woodsy. And then it got to the stage where the manager wanted to change the keeper, saying that he was going to have Woodsy next year. We're looking to integrate Woodsy into the team. And I said, fair enough. I've only signed a year. You didn't sign me anyway, so I completely understand. Coming towards the end of the season, Woods got injured, ended up back in the team playing the end of the season. And to be fair, I really enjoyed myself, and then was like, all right, what's the next kind of move from here? I wanted to carry on playing. Exeter said, like, we've got the keeper we want for next year. Fair enough. Thank you for everything. On to the next one. Burton's come in and said, look, come here, you'll play. And speaking to the manager, it was like, all right, this could be the next. Sorry, speak to my agent. This could be my next move. Want to play as much and get as many games in League One, so I can try and maybe push to be back in the Championship or push to go abroad again. And that's when I met Dino Maria.
I've heard plenty of stories about Dino. You see a lot of him on social media as well. He's quite active. Obviously, I think he's worked for Jimmy quite a lot, Floyd Hasselbank, and got a lot of his ways, which obviously Jimmy's done really well as a manager, and Dino has got his own ways of doing things as well. It's a difficult one to always mention about some managers, because Dino obviously didn't give you the easiest of times. Is that putting it nicely?
Nice way to put it. To be fair, obviously, when I spoke to Dino in the summer, he was wanting me to sign. He was singing out the club's praises and like, we're trying to get promoted. We're trying to build a big team. I saw the players that they were signing there. To be fair, they took 3 players from Exeter that I was there with, and I was like, fair enough. It's somewhere I can go. I can integrate quite quickly. I knew a few of the players at Burton already. I thought it's not too far from where I'm based in Sheffield. It kind of worked well, and I said, let's play. I want to play. Luckily enough, just before I signed, Max Crocombe signed. Met Max. Really had a good relationship with Max all season. Started the season where I was the number 1, played a couple games, got injured against Shrewsbury, and then me and the manager fell out after the game, as some players do. We have disagreements. Max then came in, done well, kept his spot, and then me and the manager just
didn't see eye to eye again.
Left it at that, and to be fair, Max done well. Kept us in a lot of the games, kept us, I think him solely kept us in the whole league, otherwise we would have struggled. And luckily enough, I had a good relationship with him, Jake Keane as well. I was very lucky with that goalkeeping group. They understood the situation, and obviously me wanting to play and obviously not playing is obviously hard for anyone.
Of course,
But I was lucky I had them and I was around them. Obviously new manager come in, said he's going to stick with Max, and I said, fair enough, Max does his shirt, sorry. And I've been enjoyed myself with the training and being around the team, and I was like, you know what, I know what the situation is.
Sometimes that's the easiest. It makes it a lot easier for yourself and any goalkeeper out there. As if a manager or a coach is honest enough to say this is how it is. It's a lot easier to accept, and you end up becoming a better professional and better understanding and more supportive a better cheerleader, or some would say. Like 100%, if there's that bit of honesty and integrity, you can get behind it. Where when you're sold the dream of like come and play, and then you're not in the team and no one tells you why.
Yeah,
that's the hardest thing as a goalkeeper to take.
Yeah, I think when they're honest and open and it just kind of tells you straight away, it's like you're either playing or you're not playing, or where they see you, you kind of know in your head like, all right, fine, I can deal with that. I know what the situation is. It's that lingering feeling when you don't know what's going on, and it's like, have I done something wrong, or am I doing something wrong? Can I do? Is there anything I can change, or something like that? And it's like that's I think the worst time when you don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
And luckily enough, when the new manager came in, he said, look, I'm going to stick with Max. And I said, fine, that's fair enough. I'm going to continue training. I want to be around the team. I still want to be here. So we'll see what happens and finish my contract. And that's where I am now.
Yeah. Obviously, the place that you're in now, looking for a club, you've just got to stay positive. Yeah. And that's the only advice that anyone can give you. There's nothing else that anyone can say apart from just got to be fit and you've got to be positive. Because a chance will come up, and it will come up for the 4 or 5 goalkeepers that still are out of contract. Because between now and January, it's a hell of a lot of football.
Yeah.
And there's going to be mistakes. There's going to be changes of managers. There's going to be injuries and red cards. And we've both seen it enough throughout our careers that things change quickly. You can be in favour one week and out of favour the next, and that's just how goalkeeping is. And new managers are always looking for someone else to change or swap around, and goalkeepers are normally the first.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, that's one thing that I've been quite lucky. Like the support group I've had, like I said, I spoke to Eve, spoke to other goalkeepers. I speak to Colsey quite often as well, and speaking to everyone, knowing everyone's been in that situation. Every goalkeeper's been in that situation where they're still waiting, being a free agent. It happens to players, but it's part of the game. You kind of just have to be mentally strong and just wait. Something will come up.
Yeah. Well, fingers crossed it does, right? Finally, I want to just talk about gloves a little bit. So obviously the gloves market is changing rapidly. What gloves are you in?
I'm in Lynx.
Yeah. You've been in Lynx for a while, haven't you?
Yeah, about 4 years now.
What is it you like about the Lynx gloves?
Very good glove.
Yeah.
I'm very comfortable in them. I like negative cuts as well.
Yeah.
So
I like a negative cut as well.
It's like it's slimmer, so you can always feel the ball. I always feel in control of the ball.
Yeah. Quite plain in design, aren't they, as well?
I like the designs. I've been quite lucky where the colours, they've always tried to ask me what I wanted.
Oh, nice. That's
I've
a good
always
gesture,
gone with either kits or what hair colour I've got. It depends on where I am and what feeling I'm feeling. So I've been quite lucky with them.
Yeah, right. Talk to me through this plastic stuff on the gloves.
Yeah, this is the only thing that probably annoys me. I think it annoys every goalkeeper, but I understand it's to save the latex, but getting it off is an absolute nightmare at times.
Oh,
I've been to
I sit
games.
there peeling it. I actually quite enjoy like the therapy aspect of just peeling it off, but I have to get every last bit off.
That's the problem. Like, it's the little bits you just can't get to, and it's like, I really want to get it, and then you end up starting to picking the latex, and you're like, okay, no, I can't touch it.
There must be a trick to getting it off. I've heard some people soak them in water, and then the water then becomes an air bubble underneath, and you can just pull it straight off. I don't know if that's true, so please don't try that. Obviously, you got to look after your gloves. Have you got any superstitions or rituals of how you do look after your gloves? How you break them in?
Breaking them in, I always wear a match day pair in training 2 days before the game.
Nice, yeah.
So it's normally on a crossing day, so I can always, I don't know why.
The ball.
Yeah, crossing day always feels like get used to it. And then I always have my match day gloves, training gloves. I'm not so superstitious with, but I always have to have a certain amount of training gloves.
Yep.
So I know I need at least 3 pairs, so I can have the Monday, maybe Tuesday training gloves.
Yep.
Then the Thursday is normally the breaking in day.
Yep.
And then the Friday, day before a game, I want to be in a pair of gloves that I'm really comfortable
Really happy with, yeah.
So yeah, those are probably my only superstitions.
Yeah, so there'll be like a matched pair that you've worn for like the weeks before that, and then so you're building towards the Saturday, but trying to make your training session structured for that as well. Right, just finally, international football. Obviously, like you mentioned, you played international football for under 16s, under 17s, under 19s. You actually won the Victory Shield at under 16s. You've been called up to the England under 21s, and you are eligible to represent Jamaica and Barbados.
Not so much Jamaica, Barbados I can.
Yeah.
I've literally just sorted out my passport to play for Barbados.
Oh, amazing.
So they just won their game against Bahamas 6-2. So they're doing well. So looking forward to obviously being a part of that now.
So the next camp then, will you be involved in?
Hopefully, I like to think so. Yeah,
that would be amazing. Then that would be an amazing experience. International football obviously is a huge deal. That will surely open up more doors to go abroad and play football abroad. Are you more right now? Are you leaning towards that as an option anyway?
It's one of the things I've played abroad. I've enjoyed playing abroad. I wouldn't close the door on that. I just obviously, like I said, I want to play. So I'd happily go abroad. I've enjoyed playing in the leagues in England, and I've played in a lot of the leagues in England. So I obviously want to play at the highest levels, and sometimes going abroad might be the option. Yeah,
well, fingers crossed, right? And then finally, what does the Goalkeepers Union mean to you?
Massively, it has been like a family, because whenever I've gone from team to team, I still speak to a lot of the goalkeepers that I've played with, and I've been quite lucky to be around. And it's one of those things I can always message the goalkeeper that I've trained with or played with and say, like, how are things going on, and ask them and kind of confide in them and talk to them at a deeper level than you can with an outfield player.
Yep.
And I would say that's because it feels like a family. It feels like no matter where I've been or where I go, wherever you play, you always know the other goalkeeper and you know what situation they've been in, and you've been in that same situation.
Yeah, great answer, mate. I really do hope you find a club soon. And any goalkeeper coaches out there looking for a goalie, please give them a phone call. Contact me, give them a phone call. I'll pass on the numbers. Jamal Blackman, everyone, thank you very much, mate.
Cheers.
Been a class episode. Huge thank you to our podcast sponsors. This has been the Yours Mine Away podcast with me, Mark Howard.